Champions League time. Champions League predictions, okay? This is going to be a bold matchup, an anticipated final between Real Madrid and Man City. First game in the Bernabeu, and what a time that it is to be a Real Madrid fan right now. Because Real Madrid won Copa del Rey 2-1. Rodrigo Goes scored 2 goals in Copa del Rey. This is a big-time player that is following the footsteps of Cristiano Ronaldo, his idol, okay? And I want to say, Project Perez, Florentino Perez, Project Neymar, because he didn't get Neymar in the past, is working out. Vinicius, Rodrigo, Hendrik, all ballers. Eder Militão, Brazilian core. So big credit to Florentino Perez for doing this stuff.
No misses on that one. But let's be honest, it has not been, a straight up, an exponential, great development affair. Vinny took a while to get going. Rodrigo has taken a while to get going. But my goodness, the two of them on either wing with Benzema in the center, it is a beautiful, beautiful sight. And yet, I don't mean to kind of pop the balloon here in the room. And yet, they were just surpassed by Atleti in the La Liga standings. Because guess what? It's not about La Liga anymore. It's about, once again, vanquishing Pep Guardiola and Manchester City. And I think even more specifically, Erling Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne, who are both kind of cooking right now, for lack of a better term. But yeah, back to Real Madrid. That win against Osasuna wasn't exactly easy. But one thing is for sure, I think Rodrigo is in that later season stage that he was in last season. Because let's be honest, if it weren't for Rodrigo, they would not have that Champions League to their name last season.
True.
And we'll see if he can do the same thing against Manchester. Actually, hold on, refrain. Let me reframe that. Rodrigo's going to have to do that again. He has to be as dangerous or close to as dangerous as Vinny on the other side for them to have a chance to beat this in-form Manchester City squad.
That is fucked.
Yeah.
They need an informed Rodrigo and informed Vinicius Jr. I'll say to this, Vinicius Jr. with 22 goals in all competitions this season is the most informed Brazilian, and City must be aware because he's about to go bold if they win the Champions League. It's Ballon d'Or talk right now. I'll say this, Vinicius Jr. in terms of one-on-one, the skill set, the technique, the speed, nobody beats him. He's the best one-on-one winger in the world right now. Left wing, Rodrigo, Vinicius, forever Galacticos. That's it.
Yep.
That's it. And the midfield too of Real Madrid. If Jude Bellingham signs for Real Madrid with Vinicius in front and Rodrigo set, Valverde, Camavinga, Tchouaméni, they'll have the best midfield too for the next decade. That is unbelievable by Florentino Perez to do this. And Florentino Perez will be remembered as one of the greatest presidents for a football club because he is one trophy away of surpassing Santiago Bernabeu, that is seen as one of the greatest presidents in the history of football too. So Florentino Perez is doing just that, okay? It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
So you're saying Estadio Florentina Perez in the future? Is that what you're saying here? Okay. Because we all know what happened to Bernabeu. It could be. It could be. But yeah, you listen, you mentioned Vinicius, and I almost think I get once again, kind of like with Erling Haaland and Harry Kane in the Premier League, how Harry Kane's 26 goals are just like because of Erling Haaland. Vinicius Jr., like his second consecutive season with 40 goal involvements. And not only that, both seasons, last season and this season, have been split pretty evenly between goals and assists. He can assist you, he can help you out, and he can also get it done on his own. But there's something that has really, really stuck to him this season that has made him go into that upper echelon of definitely top 3 attackers on the planet, right? Haaland, Mbappe, Vinicius.
Right now,
okay? Yes, right now. And what it comes down to, it's a chip on his shoulder. It's I am always annoyed. And I don't know if that's his treatment in La Liga. I don't know if that is just his personality, his on-field personality that's coming out. But it is absolutely vital to how he plays. He plays to the whistle. He does whatever he has to do to get things done. And if it's beating a man one-on-one, or if it's being a little liberal with his simulation, it doesn't matter. He gets what he needs to get done. This is not Vinicius, obviously, from 3, 4, 5 years. His first 2 seasons with Real Madrid, he had a little over 20 goal involvements. These last 2, 80 plus. So it's I honestly think the most we're going to sit here, we're going to talk about how do you stop Erling Haaland, right? I think there needs to be more talk about how does Manchester City stop Vinicius Jr.
Oh, completely. I completely agree with you. And Rodrigo goes too.
Yes.
But that's what you say. Vinicius Jr.'s mentality for sure is one of the biggest reasons for his skill set. And 2, Vinicius Jr. was learned with Modric, Ronaldo. He learned with the best. He learned with the best with Real Madrid. So I completely agree with that point that you're saying about Vinicius Jr. and that top 3. It's fantastic that you're referencing that. And I just want to say last thing on my end. Look at this player. Look, I know Eden Hazard is one of the luckiest man, okay, to play for Real Madrid and to win complete football, basically. He's won everything. But there's another player, too, that has been winning everything with Real Madrid, and he will be remembered for just winning things at Real Madrid. Mariano Diaz has won 2 FIFA World Cup. Mariano Diaz has won 2 FIFA Club World Cups. He's won 3 La Ligas, 2 Champions Leagues, 1 Copa del Rey, and 2 Spanish Super Cups. Mariano Diaz. And he was the number 7. The number 7, okay, at a given time at Real Madrid. This man, come on, completed football. Mariano Diaz. So I just wanted,
oh my gosh.
just wanted to
listen.
just stop. But we got to reference City, though. Like, the biggest enemy ever of Real Madrid as a manager is for sure Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola must be, I can't even, he must be stressing so much about this game because the legacy of Man City is all dependent on this because they got Haaland. They got Haaland because of Real Madrid. They couldn't get it done. And this season, Pep Guardiola has already 1,000 goals. 1,000 goals for Man City in 404 games as a manager. The attention to detail, the pressure he puts his players. This is definitely one of the greatest to do it. So Man City want and need and demand. The Sheiks must demand a Champions League for Guardiola. So this is what it takes. Pep Guardiola will not leave Man City without that Champions League. I guarantee you.
No.
Guarantee you, especially when his brother is one of the biggest people in the Girona project. He is involved with the City group. And I wouldn't be surprised even if Pep Guardiola stayed long-term a lot of seasons at Man City and be remembered next to Ferguson. So that's what Real Madrid are competing against, like Guardiola.
I don't know how you from infrastructure to money to the ability to do what you want, what you need. I don't know how Pep Guardiola is ever going to get as much autonomy as he currently has at Manchester City. So I'm right there. I'm right there with you. But with that said, we are rapidly approaching the time where everyone says that Pep Guardiola goes into over-analysis mode, right? Where he starts to potentially defeat himself. I mean, as good as Eder Militao has been, as okay as the entire Real Madrid defense has been for the most part this season, even though they haven't gotten the results that they've wanted, Erling Haaland is going to get his chances.
I agree.
It's not if. It's not if, right? It's when. And it's really going to come down to Thibaut Courtois and whether or not he can make the saves that are absolutely necessary. And we all know, Thibaut Courtois can do it. We've seen it happen before.
That's a very good point, Fredson, because if Real Madrid managed to stop Erling Haaland in these 2 fixtures, both Thibaut Courtois and Eder Militão, respectively, will be considered the best players in their positions. Best center back, I still say Ronaldo Araújo, okay, in my opinion. But Courtois and Eder Militão could do just that against Man City. Great point.
Yeah.
Great point,
It's gonna be. All I can say is that if for some reason the first leg winds up 3-0 in either direction, this thing's not over. It's not over. nor
agree.
will it ever be. Okay, maybe 5-zip or something, but we've seen it before with the remontadas, the last gasp goals. We're in for a treat, and if you're not excited about this is football. This is football at its best. And the narrative, I guess, the rivalry is more Guardiola versus Real Madrid than it is Manchester City versus Real Madrid these days. But it is rapidly becoming Manchester City as a team versus Real Madrid.
Exactly.
It's not quite like the other one, which is AC Milan versus Inter Milan, which we will get to in a second. But this is clearly the one that I'd imagine millions and millions and millions upon millions are going to be looking for this. Is this Guardiola's first not first real attempt, but if he makes it through to the final, we all think he's going to win. We think the winner of this semifinal, this has not changed, right, is going to win the Champions League final, correct?
I agree. But if it's not going to be Inter stopping, if someone stops, it's AC Milan. I mean, that kind of giving a glimpse of what I think of the outer fixture.
Yes,
but
you are.
Just wanted to say, Erling Haaland with 35 goals scored in one season in the Premier League will be remembered forever, especially in his debut season. He's just getting started with Pep Guardiola, and he will be remembered as one of the greatest players to ever play in the Premier League. And once again, just getting started.
Yeah. Just getting started. Yeah, 22 years old. He's 22 years old.
Exactly.
He's 22 years old. It's absolutely unbelievable. What do you think about that whole dust-up?
The Gundogan.
During the Leeds match, the Gundogan, who had obviously one killer of a game. But Erling Haaland, for those that don't know, Erling Haaland was supposed to be the designated penalty taker. Guardiola wanted him to take the penalty, and Erling Haaland, because Gundogan was on a hat trick, Erling Haaland gave it to him. And Pep Guardiola had words for Erling, and he also had words for Gundogan.
He's a leader.
So, do you like that? I like that. I mean,
it's what I said. Like, Guardiola is all about attention to detail, and the detail said with the preparation, Erling Haaland is my penalty kicker number one, regardless. And I completely understand, because when they don't score that pen, they suffer. And in Portugal, we say, "Quem não marca sofre." Who doesn't score suffers goals. That's what we say, and it's so true. Like, the confidence went down immediately because of that decision. And they did win. They won 2-1. And I think for Haaland, it's all about learning. It's all about learning. And who's a better teacher than Pep Guardiola right now in football? I think it's very difficult to find one. And Kevin De Bruyne, too. Like, Kevin De Bruyne, he will be very, very important to beat Real Madrid. And let's see, Luka Modric against Kevin De Bruyne. That'll be interesting. The Modric, that will extend another season at Real Madrid. Great news. So Modric, Kroos, Benzema, they will stay Galacticos next season. So let's wait and see if Don Carlo Ancelotti wins the Champions League and Florentino Perez is really happy for him to stay another season. If not, Brazilian national team. But
they will not stay the first choice midfield at Real Madrid. I think this has got to be a more advisory role, a more locker room role, a more depth role for Modric. I mean, I know we've been saying it for years when it comes down to it, and he's been defying the odds and just beating us all back with how flippin' just timeless the man is. And he seems to age like fine wine, but I think, you gotta let go and let the Valverde, let the Tchouaménis, let the Camavingas, they've got to be able to step up.
That's true.
And they've got to be able to deliver long term.
They are
But
stepping up.
I love that he did.
They are stepping. I agree, but I agree with you. With time, Modric, he needs to phase out. And I think next season, especially if Bellingham comes, I think he'll be willing to phase out a bit in those games. And but
listen, but you say that they step up, right? Real Madrid has stepped up, but their depth and their reliance or their the freedom that would be given to the depth by Ancelotti, by the team in general. I mean, wouldn't you have said then that this was not some like miraculous season from Barcelona necessarily, right? Real Madrid dropped the balls multiple times. They should be able to fight on multiple fronts with the depth that they currently have, right? And they're now in third place in La Liga, 1 point behind Atleti.
That Benzema, like given moments, you need depth in striker. You need depth in certain positions, and I do believe
They've had.
in terms of forwards, Real Madrid, I think they need options. And I'm gonna say last thing on my end with Man City, it's Gundogan. Yes, he did score a brace and he missed that unfortunate pen. But Gundogan is one of the most complete midfielders I've ever seen in the Prem. He's underrated for how good he is. And he had 170 passes completed in that game. Ooh. The most by any player in the Premier League in one match this season. Gundogan is one of the best, once again, midfielders I've seen in the Premier League. Okay, he's very underrated. Very underrated.
Next stop, Dortmund.
Next stop, I think even Barca. I think even Barca, but let's see. Let's see. Barca needs to figure a lot of things, and I think they're in the process of doing just that. But the other fixture we mentioned with Milan Inter, okay? This is going to be a madness, okay? Because Mike Maignan is back, the best goalkeeper in Serie A, and the leader and the inspiration for that unbelievable Milan defense. Tomori, too, has 100 appearances for AC Milan. Southgate is criminal that you don't call him consistently. But I wanted to start with those two because they're key.
They are, but listen, Inter Milan is really revving up right now. They're revving up, they're peaking at the right time, and Lautaro Martinez is not to be messed with at all. Okay, he's got 5 goals, 2 assists in his last 4 Serie A matches. They're on a 4-game win streak. Okay, they're getting closer to Juve at second. They're getting closer to Lazio in third. And I honestly do believe that if Inter had a shot all season, they're coming into this with their best form. Okay, Bastoni's been good. Barella's been good. There's been a lot. DeMarco's been very good. Yes, I honestly believe that AC Milan is going to have a much tougher time than we might. I think we liked the story behind AC Milan, but I was a little worried. 10 minutes into that AC Milan match over the weekend, Rafa Leao had to depart. Now, hopefully that was precautionary. But we will find out soon enough whenever it was. But I need to bring this up because my goodness, it was a trip down nostalgia lane. It was a trip back to like the birth of my kind of football fandom when I was younger. The last time Inter Milan and AC Milan played each other in a Champions League semifinal, this AC Milan 11 was absolutely terrifying. You had Kaká. You had Pirlo, you had Shevchenko, Cafu, Jaap Stam, you had Maldini, you had Seedorf, Crespo, Dida. I mean, just pure, wonderful nostalgia there. Inter, meanwhile, had Adriano. They had Zanetti, I think. Who else? Cambiaso, Varone. They had a good side as well, but this AC Milan squad was like one of the reasons why I fell in love with football. So... good stuff.
I love how you're mentioning that. I love how you're mentioning because not like that team. I want to say that. Not like that team. But we have some names that can become legends with AC Milan. And I just want to say Inter, Lukaku's picking up form. Di Marco is being one of the best fullbacks in Serie A lately. The form he's in for Inter, unbelievable. Barella, Bastoni, Onana, one of the best goalkeepers in the world in form right now. Inter have reasons to go bold against AC Milan. But I'm going to reiterate, Rafa Leão, if he's in form, he'll be the best player in the 2 legs against Inter. I believe in this Rossoneri, especially when Napoli, with Victor Osimhen, he will most possibly win the best player of Serie A. Rafa Leão doesn't want to be forgotten because last season he was that guy. So let's wait and see if in the Champions League he'll go bold like I'm predicting.
But hey, if Leao can't go, all you need is Theo Hernandez to unleash one of his full field runs. So I'm sorry, I just stole your thunder when it comes down to that. But if there was any fight behind who is one of the best or the best fullbacks in the world, Theo Hernandez is he just raised his hand over the weekend and said that's me.
Theo Hernandez is the best left back in the world right now. No doubt. No doubt. It's not even informed. The importance he has for AC Milan completely.
Absolutely.
And 11 Champions League 11 of the season, Theo Hernandez is for sure the left back on that team. And he deserves that. He deserves that show. So we are both this is the moment. So, Man City, Real Madrid. We are going to pick who for this match?
Oh my gosh, my head is, believe it or not, telling me Inter Milan. My heart is telling me AC Milan. Inter Milan.
Real Bayern. Real Bayern.
What was that?
Real Bayern. Oh, Real Bayern. Real City. I'm sorry. Real Bayern.
Oh, City. Oh, we're starting with Real City. Apologies. I am going to say I'm sticking with it. Manchester City looks absolutely infallible at the moment, and it's going to take a heroic offensive threat, like ridiculous, for them to forget that Erling Haaland is there. So I'm going to say Manchester City will get through Pep Guardiola in the final.
Okay, I like that. I'll say Real Madrid to be the opposite. And Vinicius Jr. getting it done with Rodrigo, Benzema, Modric. Experience, I think, will matter the most in this match. But Erling Haaland
So good.
against Milito and Courtois. It's about to go bold. And Milan, Inter Milan. Who are we going to go for? Who are we going to go for?
Okay. Let me repeat myself very quickly. My head is saying Inter Milan. My heart is saying AC Milan. I'm going to let my head win over on this one. I think Inter Milan is in great form. I think Lukaku, surprisingly, I know we've all kind of Harry Maguire'd the crap out of him this year, probably understandably so at times. I think Lukaku and Lautaro are going to be tough for AC Milan to corral. I'm going to say Inter Milan in the final against Manchester City.
Oh, I'm gonna go against that. I'll go AC Milan on this end. I believe in Rafa, Mike Magni, and Theo. But it's true, Inter are the best in form right now. But they had a big win too, AC Milan against Lazio, 2-0, but not 6-0 against Verona. I was shocked when I saw that. I was shocked. I wasn't expecting that for sure. But tell us in the comment section down below, who do you pick between Real Madrid and Man City? Not Bayern Munich, like I was saying. Me thinking it was the Bayern Munich of the past. Then Inter AC Milan.
We all had higher hopes for that Nagelsmann led Bayern Munich, but that did not materialize, did it? But hey, these are two beautiful fixtures, and I can't wait. Tuesday can't come fast enough.
That's great mention with Nagelsmann right there, because in 8 games in the Champions League, Nagelsmann had 8 wins. So let's wait and see. Put down below your picks, people.